In the last year, I spent 6 months in Australia, 3 months on the East Coast and 3 months in the West Coast, where I am now. And I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I can definitely give you some tips about where to go, what to do, and how everything works for when you're planning to go to Australia. Starting by actually being able to enter Australia, you need a visa. To apply for a work and holiday visa, you can easily do that on this website. I think it's just a government website, but I'm not sure. So you can do it here, and there are a few overall rules that you need to be under 30 years old for most of the countries. You need like no criminal records, and you need more than or $5,000 on your bank account, just so that they are sure that you have enough money to be here. To be able to work in Australia itself, you need a few things. You need an Australian bank account. I did it with Wise. So I have a Wise bank account because I've also been traveling to a lot of other countries, and this is a bank account that does different currencies. Another thing is a tax file number. It's called TNF. You need that because you need to pay tax. You need to pay tax, but you can also get it all back when you leave Australia again. So for a tax file number, you go to this website. I think it's also the government website, but you go to that website. It's pretty easy to do. Then another thing is you need a super fund, which is basically a pension. Also super easy. I think I joined Australian Super. It took me exactly 5 minutes or less. You need those things because whenever you get a job, you need to give them these information. So it's smart to do as soon as possible. Okay, now you're ready to go. You're ready to pay for things, you're ready to earn money, but where do you go? I traveled the East Coast, like the full typical route, I would say, and I've been in Perth. So I haven't seen everything of the West Coast. So this is just my opinion and my advice and my tips. The first time I came here was December 2022. At that time, I just wanted to explore Australia. I just wanted to see what the fuss is about. So I did Sydney, then I went to Byron Bay, I went to Brisbane, I stayed there and worked there for 1.5 months. Then I went to Noosa, the Gold Coast, I went to Fraser Island, Agnes Water, Airlie Beach, Magnetic Island, and I ended up in Cairns. That's a tour that a lot of people do. So I went from south to north, and some people also do it from north to south. So they start in Cairns and they go to Sydney, and then they also do Melbourne. I didn't do Melbourne. I think that's the only big city that I didn't do. What I would recommend for people who go to Australia for the first time is do the East Coast. Just explore it all, just to see it all, and yeah. Of course, if you want to work, if you really want to base somewhere and just work for 3 months, I would go to Byron Bay, Sydney, and I loved Magnetic Island. Magnetic Island is a small island close to Cairns. You just have it all. You have wallabies, you have kangaroos, you have koalas, you have a lot of nature, you have beaches. It's just small, everyone knows each other, and yeah, I just really love that place. Okay, but of course we are talking about a work and holiday visa, and if you're planning to do a second year, you need to do 88 days of work in hospitality, mining and farming. You can't do that everywhere. Or, well, you can work everywhere, but it doesn't count for your 88 days. You have to do it in specific area. I did some hospitality in Brisbane and I did some hospitality work in Perth, and they both didn't count. But Perth is really good for mining, which also, by the way, earns a lot of good money. Perth is also good for farming. If you want to do hospitality work, I would recommend you to go to Cairns or in that area, because that's the area where you can do hospitality for your 88 days. I would recommend going to Magnetic Island because that also counts for your 88 days, and yeah, it's my favorite place. I also have a tip for you, and that is that you can also work in hostels. I actually found out a little bit too late. So it's super easy. They're always looking for people to work at the reception, to work in housekeeping, to work at the cafe, the bar. I did this for 2 weeks in Magnetic Island, so I could stay for 2 weeks in Magnetic Island for free, or in exchange to do 15 hours of work a week. So it's a really easy way to just stay for free, save some money, yeah, be part of the society here in Australia. Okay, so now about where are you gonna stay and how do you find that place? Of course, if you are a backpacker, if you are a real traveler, go to hostels, because the hostels are the best place to meet other people. Hostels are also like everything else in Australia, they can get quite expensive. On average, a bed in a dorm is 30 euros a day, $50 flies. We found a place on Flatmates, and Flatmates is a website where you can find rooms in shared houses, so you have a little bit more privacy than in a dorm, but it's only for people that want to stay longer. So normally you have to stay in the same place for minimum 3 months, I think. But yeah, it's a cheaper option, it's the better option, it's the most comfortable option, I think, if you want to stay in one place. What you can also do is find an Airbnb with 5 strangers like I did. You need to book your accommodation ahead, like 3 to 4 weeks ahead. If you don't do that, that's fine, but you pay double the price. And I know that a lot of travelers, a lot of backpackers don't want to plan that much. And I didn't want to do that either, but you really have to. And I underestimated that. Not only for accommodation, but you also really need to plan ahead when you book tours or when you book anything in Australia. The last thing I want to cover in this video, because I feel like it's getting a little bit long, transportation. Like I said, I'm in Perth right now and I made the biggest mistake. I didn't buy a car. Okay, hello! Wait, I'm still filming! Just a little bit. Okay. Doei! But yeah. If we want to go travel or see more or explore more or even go to a supermarket, it's a big thing. We need a car, and everyone here is driving a car. We are the only crazy people driving a bicycle here. If you are going to West Australia, definitely buy a car. It's quite easy to buy a car. There are a lot of cars for sale on places like Facebook Marketplace. There's Gumtree, which is good for cars and also for jobs, by the way. Just buy a car, make sure it's a good car, check it at a garage, and then sell it again when you leave. I would highly recommend that. But in the East Coast, you don't necessarily need a car. That's why I also didn't buy a car now, because I thought I didn't really need a car. But in the East Coast, it's super easy to get around. It's super easy to hop from place to place to place with public transportation, but mostly also because of the Greyhound bus, the famous bus. This bus just goes to all the tourist spot to tourist spot, I would say. And it's super easy to book a seat. You just go to the website greyhound.com. If you are planning to do a fast tour around the East Coast, like in 1 month, then you can buy a 1 month ticket, so you can just go everywhere you want to go. So yeah, these are just all my basic tips about going to Australia for the first time on a working holiday visa, and that I wanted to share with you. I have a lot more, but I don't want to make this video too long. So just please ask anything in the comments and I will reply to that. And yeah, I'm also planning to make more of these videos because it's all in my head and people keep asking me about tips. So just follow along and I will see you in the next one. Doei!